ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ, ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ. Thank you for joining us on this Sunday, August the 15th, and continuing in our process of evolution in terms of our consciousness, collective meditation, and cultivating peace and improving our health and well-being. Yeah, so that's the basic core values of the practices that we're doing. And within that, and provide some understanding in order to help us navigate. Knowledge is power. And why is it power? Is because knowing something gives you the possibility of liberating yourself from its consequences. So, for example, knowing that it's going to rain liberates you from getting wet. Yeah, you know, that kind of thing. So the knowledge that we share, the information that we share, allows you to know for yourself and then navigate through it. So as we said, and we've continued in recognizing the hand behind reality and how this hand is expressed through this divine imperative of balance, always maintaining balance, which comes as change. Yeah, so that's hukam, that comes as change, this constant process of change. And this process of change, as we go through this process of change and we begin to observe it. So observing, in the act of observing the universe, it allows us to become the universe in that same way, because you then become the observer, and ultimately that is being conscious of consciousness. So the process that we are following, or that we've been trying to share over the last 18 months, is a process that's also engaged in the evolution of our consciousness. And humanity needs this today, because humanity is in a state of crisis. Whether we accept it or see it or don't see it, humanity is in a state of what you describe as a war, but not necessarily kinetic war where bombs are being dropped on you, but more about information war, more about censorship war, more about divide and rule war, where everything is being divided at so many different levels. And as we spoke last year, that there will come a moment when society appears to be divided, well, this division is now only going to get prominent. So within this whole shift, every individual will have to come to their truth. And what does that mean? That means, what is it that I feel to be my truth, not what is I believe to be my truth. And in this, the question of those who have gone down the intervention route and those who haven't, as that division will become stronger and harder. So it brings us to this really important part. Okay, how does one navigate through this? How does one navigate through this wobble in duality, wobble in the structures that surround us, wobbling in the financial sector, wobbling in the availability of food, you know, many wobbles are along the way, including the health wobble. So how do we navigate? Well, if we have been working with meditation, then we should be now in a space where two components are part of our experience: a sense of contentment, you know, sense of peace, and a sense of compassion, but not necessarily your ego being compassionate, but just a general sense of compassion, a kind of an internal warmth. And that compassion also then becomes quite distressful, because when you see what's going on around you, that compassion brings more distress. So you will find that those people who have been engaging in meditation, in spiritual practices of any sort are going to find these moments far more challenging for that very reason, that it's easier times against individuals. They're just being dismissive about it. And I'd like people to think about this. So people can, and obviously there are talks about mandating a particular action, okay? And so what is it? It's an actual invasion, because there are those who don't consent to it. There's actual invasion into your body, which is irreversible. And that's considered to be a law. Well, what's the difference between that law, where without consent you are being invaded, or what's the difference? Because ultimately it is the violation of a human right against their will. So if we look at it within that context, you will realize the seriousness of all this propaganda that's going on and what the implications are for you. So part of our this process is to come together as a state of being that you can experience this. It gives rise to Dharam. It gives rise to a way of being which is in harmony with the universe. We're in harmony with existence, harmony with change, harmony with impermanence, harmony in being the observer, harmony in the practice of non-attachment, not detachment. So when we begin to harmonize ourselves within that, this we could describe as the word dharma. Yeah, when you find your truth, when you embed yourself, when you are embedded in the status now, but from a position in which there's an ethical component. And what is this ethical component? Well, this ethical component is take no action that may harm you or another. Okay? Take no action that harms you or another. And then there is the other one. Don't allow any inaction which may harm you or another. So knowing something through your own understanding, not through some belief system, but your knowledge, your research, etc., knowing something and not speaking about it may cause harm to another. While making someone do something that may harm another, either psychologically, physiologically, or in terms of spiritually. If it harms another, take no action. Take no action. So we come to this difficult perspective of engaging in the world in which we have to begin to recognize where we stand. And if we stand pro or anti-intervention, we need to know why. We need to know why. Not because what we've read, but because of our own experience, based as much on experience as possible, based on non-censored, unbiased information that is publicly accessible, based on critical thinking. We bring this together and we make our conclusions. And if we don't have them, we seek those that have them. Not those that are foisted upon us, not those that are shoved down our throats as these are the experts. Because we need those people who have an interest in take no action that harms yourself or another. And if one is motivated by power, one is motivated by position and status and money, then you know this. There is a price through which harming or not harming can be overcome. All you're doing is just being bribed to do something that only benefits you and harms another. Totally unethical. Totally unethical. This is where we are. This is what we know. This is what is known as a dharma. This is what is known as kaljug, the age of ignorance, because we have no recognition of what it means to be alive, what it means to be human, what it allows us to achieve. We are comfortable in our slavery. We are comfortable in our illusions being distracted by a variety of sensory gratification, addictive stimuli. And therefore, this illusion, as it breaks, creates the wobble, creates the uncertainty, creates the insecurity. And as we head into September, as we said earlier on the year, that as things go into the darker months, things will become more serious for our health, more serious in terms of availability and accessibility of food. And this was said, a year ago. So without wishing to add to any distress, it's better to know what you have in your pantry than what to have in your wallet. It's a wiser move to know what you have in your pantry rather than what you have in your bank balance or in your wallet. And it is better to have support in times of change and crisis. So make that support available wherever possible. So coming to the crux of how do we take the right action? Act or not act? How do we take this right action? So there is a beautiful practice called the pause. And this practice was graced upon us about a year, 2 years ago, and it's a profound practice which really does allow you to get instantly in a space in which you will, the knowing is clearer, all right? If not clear, clearer, right? So it's not a panacea, meaning that it'll cure all ills, but it allows us to act in a way during states of wobblingness, or when we feel emotionally tested, or anger, as we will begin to see that rising more and more as we go along. So how do we react to that? How do we respond to it rather than react to it? So the pause is a simple step, and this is all it takes. So allow yourself to imagine that you have got into a situation where a sense of distress within you, right? Not knowing, a sense of distress. Breathe in and look within as deep as possible. And we stay with that. Simply looking. And then when you feel the time is over, allow the breath to come out. And in doing so, in going within, you want access your essential self, your source, the truth. More importantly, it allows you to disengage just momentarily. Be profoundly valuable. It's worth using. You are being drawn into, or you're finding challenging in any way, or wishing to know what to do. And the key to this is that it's a deliberate looking in, right? We can all take a deep breath in, but that's not what this is. This isn't taking a deep breath in. This is the word pause. We position ourselves. Remember, pause. Position yourself in the now and use it. And how do we use it? We use the breath to deliberately go within and to look, to listen, to simply be aware. That's really all we're looking at. And in that, there is a process that takes place. Your wiser self, your higher mind, call it what you want. There's a process that takes place which allows us to then express something which is more balanced and appropriate to the situation. But also from a position of knowing sovereignty, unwavering, non-wobbling. So while everything else kind of is going all over the place, here we are anchoring ourselves. And we anchor ourselves not with our feet, but we anchor ourselves with our heart. So we move in, we watch, we become aware. And as we become, we can use that in order to navigate the one that slightly leak out. So it's an auspicious time. It's a phenomenal time. It's a time when we are learning. We're not going to learn, we are learning. We are learning that life takes care of itself. That all that happens as it needs to happen. However, where we are and how we act and respond determines where our next moment is. So just as it determines our next moment, it also determines the cycle of life and death. Call it reincarnation, call it transmigration, call it a continuous change. Whatever it is, the cycle continues. And therefore, this evolution of our consciousness allows us to see this and navigate this in a way which is beneficial in the highest possible sense. Not to do with the physical, mental, emotional health are just part of the element, but it is ultimately to do with our spiritual health, Atma Gyan, and this is a whole new ballgame, which humanity is being brought to its awareness. I mean, how lucky are we? So, with that thought, we will begin to go into our meditation. And again, within this meditation, because we've had many people who expressed concern and anxiety over different things, we felt that maybe we can use consciousness, make people aware actions, can make a difference, can allow a fractal to create itself, and this fractal can be one that can benefit. So it begins to grow, it begins to, the more focus one puts into it, it's sort of a quantum reality by that space. And within this container, our intention, our attention allows that to be nurtured into something that is then self-creating, Saivam, that which creates itself from itself, right? So, and therefore, it could be of benefit to the world, of benefit to people. So one of those who wish to participate, please do, and I'll speak about it as we're going along, is to go into a intention. And our intention always is to act in a way which prevents harm to another that is harmful to them, right? So it's not what we think is harm. It's the fact that may these individuals not be harmed from their perspective, not be harmed. And we can visualize this in different ways that we want to protect. There's a protection, however you want to do it. And in that visualization, so the first is the intention, second is the visualization, and the third is the act. And in the act, at this stage, we're using some words from the compassion metta meditation you feel is right. So when you're ready, back, make sure they're not hunched. And as you breathe in, just bringing your focus to yourself. And here we begin to notice our posture. And as we begin to watch our posture, we also begin to notice what's going on within us. So you will find that your mind is You may notice some sensations within your body. And then just to become familiar with the sensations and embody ourselves, we bring our focus to where we feel the sensation strongest. So bring your focus to your chair or your seat, or wherever your body makes contact with what you're sitting or lying on. Then from your seat, notice that you can bring your awareness up towards your hips. And remember, we're just simply looking at sensations. So we inspect the side of our hips, the back, and the front. Notice any sensations. Moving on to our thighs. Again, anything that's dominant. Of course, you can sense your thighs, but is there something dominant there? From your knees, you move down to your ankles. From your ankles, you move down to your feet. And then bring some awareness to the soles of your feet. Now you have some awareness of your lower part of your body. Bringing your focus back to the seat you're on. And this time we're going to look at our back. So notice that the back is straight, upright. Notice if there's anything that's particularly present. Perhaps a tightness or an ache or a pain or an itch. Bring your focus from the seat upwards. And as you move upwards, you scan for sensations until you get to your middle back. From your middle back, you move up towards your shoulder blades. You notice your shoulders. From here, you move down to your elbows. Remember, you're looking for sensations. Moving down to your wrists. Notice the palm. And then notice the fingers on your hands. From your fingers, moving up towards your eyes. Again, notice the darkness that sits behind your eyelids. And this observer is unchanging. Simply the ability to watch and to know. And as you breathe out, allow your eyes to relax and soften. Moving now to your mouth. Notice your tongue. Allow it to soften. Notice the top of your roof of your mouth. Scanning for sensations. And you will find that there are sensations that are at the front of the roof of your mouth. And there are sensations towards the back. As you breathe out, relaxing your face. As the breath comes in, once again bringing your focus to yourself as best as you can. Notice what you're thinking. Bringing your focus now to your chest. How do you feel? What is your current state of being? Calm, settled, peaceful. Sukh, the absence of suffering, which is dukh, which comes as fear, anger, feeling unsettled, anxiety, concern, unpleasant, uncomfortable. How do you feel? Simply knowing the feeling. On your next breath out, opening your awareness to all the sounds around you. Allowing these sounds to come to you. Not listening with your ears, but listening with your whole sense of self. When you're ready, bringing your focus just beneath your nose, begin to watch your breath. By itself. Watching the in-breath moving in, watching the out-breath moving out. Notice how your breath is flowing. Does your in-breath feel the same as? Stay with your breath. Begin to follow your out-breath all the way till the end. Trying to identify exactly when it finishes. Naturally. Trying to pinpoint that exact moment when the out-breath finishes before the in-breath begins. Allowing yourself in deeper into this present moment. Moving from this present moment to presence. Following your breath all the way till the end. And there's a point at which there is no breath. The out breath has finished and the in breath has not begun yet. See if you can locate that point. Following your out breath all the way till the end. Notice how you're breathing now. Breath feels different. Notice the length of your breath. Does your breath seem long or does it seem short? If it's long, no need to make it short. If it's short, no need to make it long. Things are the way they are. Does your breath feel smooth? Stay with your breath. Does your breath feel cold or does it feel warm? And then moving to the sound of your breath. And in meditation, we can simply stay with the sound of our meditation and the sound of our breath for as long as you want. Simply listening to the in-breath as it comes in, listening to the out-breath as it goes out. Moving deeper and deeper with every breath out. Listening. Listening to our breath without any distraction. Stay with your breath. On your next breath out, opening your awareness with the same intent, simply being open to all the sounds, vibrations around you, listening to them, not just with your ears, but with your very sense of self. No commentary, no judgment, just listening. from the shared consciousness, from the stillness and silence, where we are all connected in this silence. Generating that those who are vulnerable may no harm come to them. Those that are vulnerable may no harm come to them. And with this intention, we bring to our mind a visualization that represents that. For some, they see children and vulnerable people and animals surrounded by light. Some see the whole world held in hands or light. Allow an image to form within you. An image that represents may no harm come to them. And once we find that the image with the intention is within us, to whatever degree, we act. We act through the expression of these sentiments by reciting the following words within ourselves. May you be happy. May you be healthy. May you be peaceful. May you be safe. Allowing these sentiments with compassion, care, and gentleness to energize your visualization. May you be happy. May you be healthy. May you be peaceful. May you be safe. May each one connect to their very source. May find their sovereignty. And one final time, may you be happy. May you be healthy. May you be peaceful. May you be safe. Aware of any thoughts that may be present. Bringing your focus now just beneath your nose and just sitting with your breath. Allowing the breath to breathe by itself. And when you're ready, simply expand your awareness to include your whole body. Notice the stillness within yourself and the stillness of your body. Take a moment of presence your presence. There is no you, there is only presence. And the joy that's contained in this presence. Notice you're still sitting in the same place. Sensations where your body makes contact with the chair or the floor or the you can sense your thighs, you can sense your lower legs moving to your feet, sensing the soles of your feet. Notice that the back is still straight and upright. Shoulders, arms, hands are relaxed and comfortable. Eyes are closed, mouth is still closed, and the face is relaxed. Bringing yourself back to your breath. And as the breath comes in, you can sense your body. As the breath goes out, you can sense your body. Holding that peace, holding that compassion. When you hear the next bell, use this bell to draw a few deep breaths in, and in your own good time, opening your eyes. Thank you very much for joining us today. May you be happy, may you be healthy, may you be peaceful, may you be safe. Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru